Welcome to Dave Kennon's Retirement Revolution, the inaugural radio show. I was on the air for a couple years there. We took a short hiatus, and back by popular demand, we're back. Dave Kennon's Retirement Revolution is back on the airways. I'm excited. I've been doing a podcast version of this program for the past few months, so I've been recording radio programs the whole time. But we're back on WLSS 930 AM radio in Sarasota, Florida. I am so excited. I really am excited. This is going to be a great show. You're going to learn so much today. Today we're going to talk about the retirement revolution. What is the retirement revolution, and why is it so important, and why do I get so jazzed up about it? I'm an excitable guy. This is really important. This is really interesting. And for a lot of the people listening out there, I know this is a big promise. But listening to the program today, you very well could learn things that are going to make you view your money differently for the rest of your life. Whew, that is a big promise, Dave. Okay, that's a lot of pressure. That's okay. I got this. We're going to teach you things today. I'm going to plant a seed. This seed that I'm going to plant, I hope, grows into a tree or a flower, whatever you want the seed to grow into. But, I only have half an hour today and in today's program, and I have a limited amount of time, so I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to permanently change your life in half an hour. But I do think I'm going to be able to plant a seed. And the seed I am trying to plant is this. It's the basis to the entire retirement revolution. People in their 60s and 70s need to start spending more money. That's it. That is the premise of the retirement revolution. Now, this doesn't apply to everybody, right? I mean, if you have no money, if you've never saved any money, if you have tremendous amounts of debt, if you're entering into your 60s and 70s without any sort of financial means, this message is not for you. But I'm not talking to people that are not prepared for retirement. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the 50% of the country. It's about half of the country that is prepared, that has saved money for retirement, has lived below their means, has built up good financial habits. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the people. And again, it doesn't matter if you have $200,000, $500,000, $2 million. It's the same concept. The amount of money isn't overly important. Quite frankly, I sit down with some people that have lots and lots of money, and they're in worse financial shape than people that haven't saved much money. And how that happens is budget, right? If you are spending $10,000 or $15,000 a month and have a couple $1,000,000 saved, you are in much worse shape than somebody that saved $300,000 and needs $3,000 a month to live. So it's not as simple as how much money you have. There's a lot of pieces to making sure that your retirement is as awesome as possible, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make sure that your retirement is absolutely as awesome as possible. I'm excited. Let's talk about the retirement revolution. Actually, I'm going to ask you a question. Let me ask you a question here. What is the one thing that 99% of Americans are concerned about when it comes to their retirement and their finances? Let's think about this. When I sit down with hundreds of people every week in my office, I am a financial advisor. I act as a fiduciary for many clients. And whenever they come into my office, the vast majority of them, maybe not 99%, maybe 95% of them, have the same fear, the same anxiety. What do you think that fear is? All right. Do you have an answer in your head? They're all afraid they're going to run out of money. Yes, that's right. Everyone is afraid they're going to outlive their money. It doesn't matter if they have nothing saved, $100,000 saved, $1 million saved, or $5 million saved. It is incredible how it doesn't necessarily matter how much you've saved. The vast majority of baby boomers that are nearing retirement or already retired are scared to death about running out of money. But I have great news. I have fantastic news. And that fantastic news is people aren't running out of money. It's not actually happening. The Federal Reserve recently released a consumer survey that revealed some startling data. It was surprising. It showed that on average, people in America, when they retire, let's say they have $100,000 in savings, on average, when that person dies, they have almost twice as much money as they had on the day that they retired. How is that possible? There's some sort of disconnect here. Everyone is so concerned about running out of money, yet people aren't actually running out of money. The government statistics that show people that run out of money is around 12%. About 12% of people in this country, when they pass away, have nothing left except Social Security, right? But the other 88%, they are fine. They end up passing away with some savings, most of the time, far more savings than they have ever had in their life. So the big central thesis behind the retirement revolution is that it's okay to start spending your retirement savings when you retire. That's really one of the central themes to what we're going to be talking about for week after week after week as this radio program, as the revolution starts here in Sarasota, and then it's going to start to spread. It's going to spread to all of Florida and then the entire country. Who knows? Maybe it'll go to other countries in the world because the message I have is so important. So it changes things. It will change the way you view things. It'll change the way you live your life. And if it were up to me and if I do a good job here, I'm going to help you stop worrying about things that you don't need to be worrying about. There's plenty for you to worry about. Life is hard, right? This side of glory, things can get pretty difficult. And all I'm saying is I want to get rid of some of these anxieties and fears that you have about money, because if I can do that for you, it's going to give you an awesome retirement. It's going to let you loosen the grip and free you up to live a much better retired life without this incessant fear in the back of your mind that you're going to run out of money. Okay, I'm going to ask you another question. This applies to people that haven't retired yet. What age do you believe you can safely retire? What age do you believe you can safely retire? It's a hard question to answer for most people. Most people that come into my office have a very difficult time taking all of the financial pieces of their puzzle and putting them all together in a way that makes sense to them, that's going to give them the life that they deserve. Here's another question. When are you going to start spending your retirement savings, right? When are you going to start spending your retirement savings? And along the same lines is the question, how much money do you want left over when you die? Dun, dun, dun. When are you going to start spending your retirement savings, and how much money do you want remaining when you pass away? I ask these two questions like that because I ask these questions to people that come into my office all the time. And the answers I get are pretty consistent. Basically, everyone that comes into my office says the same thing when I ask those questions. When I ask the question, when are you going to start spending your retirement savings? They say to me, I don't know, Dave. I guess I'll start spending my retirement savings when I absolutely have to. I guess I'll start spending my retirement savings when the government forces me to. You see, when you turn 70 and a half, the federal government, the IRS, forces you to start taking money out of your retirement accounts. So those are generally the same answers, the two answers that I get. And then I ask the question, how much money do you want left over in these accounts when you die? And maybe you're surprised. I don't hear many people say, it's very important to me that all this money goes to my kids. It's very important to me that we build up these accounts as much as possible because I want to make my kids rich, rich, rich. No, I don't really hear that. Most of the time, when I ask people how much money do you want left over when you die, they say, look, if there's some money left over for the kids, great. But this is my money. I want to enjoy my money. Quite frankly, if the last check bounces, if the check to the undertaker bounces, I have done my job. I've heard the check bouncing to the undertaker joke many, many times. I want that last check to bounce. I hear it all the time. So what people generally say to me is they're not going to spend their money until they absolutely have to, but then at the same time, they don't want to die with all of this money. And the data is clear. Most people are dying with more money than they've ever had in their lives. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is signing up for the retirement revolution. And all that means is you get educated, you put a plan together, you understand how all of this fits together, Social Security, pensions, investments. There's a little bit of work there. It's not that bad. You know, us financial guys like to make this more complicated than it is. But I'm a good teacher. My mom was a second grade teacher, right? I think it rubbed off on me. All you need to do is learn and be educated on how this stuff works. And then you need to come to terms with the fact that is, and this is the answer to my question of when should you start spending your retirement savings. You need to start spending your retirement savings as soon as you retire. That's what it's for. And generally what I say to people is, look, I'm not even asking you to spend your savings. I'm just suggesting that you spend the money that your money is making. You don't even necessarily need to spend the principal. I'm just suggesting that you spend the money that the money is making. I don't think that seems that outrageous, right? Which leads us to the next question. Well, okay, Dave, so if you're saying that it's okay for us to start spending the money that the money is making, well then where do we put the money? Well, you're going to learn on Dave Kennon's Retirement Revolution that I'm a straight shooter. I am a financial advisor by trade. I do have people come in and I work as a fiduciary for people. And by the way, I do have classes that I teach every month on the Retirement Revolution class. It is a live, interactive experience that will absolutely, I'm telling you, if you allow yourself to go through that experience, it is going to give you all kinds of amazing information that will allow you to live the life that you deserve, right? It will allow you to start maybe spending a little bit more money in your 60s and 70s, and it should take away a lot of the fears and anxieties that you've built up because a lot of what-if thinking, right? There's a lot of scary news out there. So there's all these what-ifs that you have in your mind. We just need to tweak and clear up some of the misconceptions you have about retirement planning and how all of this stuff works. And then we're going to very simply put everything together in an actionable plan where you can actually start living the life that you should be. So like I said, if you want to sign up for the Retirement Revolution class, go to sarasotaclass.com. That's an easy thing to remember, sarasotaclass.com. Go there, sign up for the free class, and don't worry, I'm not selling anything. I've learned throughout the years that if I serve and educate my community, good things come back to me. So just relax. I'm not selling anything. I know nowadays it's hard to believe that somebody would do that, but I've done this for 17 years. It's awesome. Check out the class, sarasotaclass.com. So anyway, so what I'm saying is the retirement revolution, the central premise of the retirement revolution is for people in their 60s and 70s to start spending more money, right? So that begs the question, well, where do we put the money, Dave? Because what you just said was that when you retire, as soon as you retire, you need to start spending the money that the money is making. You need to start spending the money that your retirement savings is making. Now, if your retirement savings is under the mattress or in a bank account getting 0.1%, my advice isn't very exciting because the money that your money is making is basically nothing. I'm not telling you to do that. Like I said, I'm not going to hide anything. I'm just going to pull back the curtain and tell you what to do. You need to invest your money in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds with at least half of the money in stocks. I'm going to say that again. I want to really make this very clear. You want to invest your money in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds with at least half of the money in stocks. And why, after 17 years of my type A brain chewing away at this problem, chewing away at the problem of once you retire, where in the heck do you put your money? How does this work? There's so many people with so many opinions. What do you do? Well, I've done the homework for you, and I can tell you with utmost certainty that you want to invest your money in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds with at least half of the money in stocks. Is this my idea? No. It's definitely not my idea. If you go on Amazon.com and read the top 10 books on investing in retirement, almost every one of them says exactly the same thing. They tell you to invest your money in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds. And why is that such a wonderful strategy? Well, stocks and bonds have been around for a very long time. They have an incredibly long track record. In fact, we have data back into the 1700s, right? Wait, let me say that again. It's the 1800s, the 19th century. So the 1800s, 1900s, we have some data from the 1700s. 1800s, 1900s, and obviously the 21st century. We have the data. We know what these things have done. They're incredibly powerful tools, and they're a lot more consistent than people realize. And when you have your money invested in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds, now we're talking. Now we're talking, because now we can legitimately say, let's start spending the money that the money is making. Well, then the next question invariably is, well, Dave, okay, so how much is that? How much money can I spend from a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds? And the answer to that question is 5%. I told you, this is not a bait and switch. I'm not hiding anything. I'm just straight up telling you what to do. You want to take out 5% of the account value each year. And the simplest way for me to express to you why you want to take out 5% of your account value each year is this. If you put your money in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds, and if you look at the long-term returns of what these financial instruments have done, let's say over the next 10, 15, 20 years, we know, historically speaking, that they have an exceptionally high chance of returning at least 5% per year. Let me say that again. If you have your money invested in a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds, between now and the end of your life, it is a fair statement to say that that portfolio should return an average annual return of at least 5%. Now, I can't guarantee what's going to happen in the future. What's happened in the past doesn't guarantee what's going to happen in the future. But it's not like we're just talking about a couple examples where that's true. We're talking about 80 years, the entirety of modern economic history. That's held true. And what I mean by that is if you were retired from 1940 to 1960 or 1960 to 1980 or 1980 to 2000 or 2000 to 2017, it doesn't matter what the time period is. In any one of those examples, that type of portfolio would have returned at least an average of 5%. So we have an extremely long historic track record, and stocks and bonds are really kind of what make the world go round. They're awesome vehicles. They're very powerful. So I'm just trying to be very straightforward with you. I want you to understand that once you retire, your money needs to keep working for you. Since you're no longer working, clearly your money needs to work for you. And don't try to reinvent the wheel. You know, the wheel is not broken. Stocks and bonds have worked really, really well for a really, really long time. Don't try to reinvent the wheel by getting too fancy with this, by using investment strategies that are not time-tested, by using newer investment products. In my experience, you're just asking for trouble at that point. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel when the wheel is working perfectly fine? The retirement revolution is starting. And the retirement revolution is going to allow you to loosen the grip a little bit and allow you to start spending more of the money you saved specifically for retirement. You don't have to buy anything. You don't really even have to do that much. You just need to get educated. You need to get your money working for you. And you need to adjust your brain, right? You have some Depression era thinking in there. Your parents infected you with this Depression era mentality that kind of says, man, oh man, You never know what might happen. We could go into the Great Depression Part 2. Everything might fall apart. That's in there. That's deep inside your brain. So we got to change that a little bit, and we have to just start exploring how do we get the most life from our money. It doesn't matter how much you die with. It matters, what you use the money for in the meantime. Man, these programs just fly by. They fly by. We're at the end of the program. I will be back again next week talking more about the retirement revolution. Next week, we're going to talk about the what if of what happens if I need to go to a nursing home, or what if I have a major medical expense in retirement. Those are the two big misconceptions that we're going to extinguish. Once you have that information, it's going to get you closer to joining the revolution. Like I said, if you want to come to the class, go to sarasotaclass.com. That's sarasotaclass.com. We have retirement revolution classes every week. And you can also go to my website to learn more at stoplivingscared.com. That's stoplivingscared.com. I hope everybody learned something this week, and be blessed.